China eases flight bans after US bars Chinese passenger flights. China said on Thursday it will allow more foreign carriers to fly into the mainland, shortly after Washington barred Chinese passenger carriers from flying to the United States, citing Beijing's restrictions on American airlines. The Civil Aviation Administration of China, CAAC, said in a statement that qualifying foreign carriers currently barred from operating flights to mainland China will be allowed once-per-week flights into a city of their choosing starting on June 8. The CAAC also said all airlines will be allowed to increase the number of international flights involving China to 2 per week if no incoming passengers on their flights test positive for COVID-19 for 3 consecutive weeks. President Donald Trump's administration had earlier barred Chinese passenger carriers from flying to the United States starting on June 16 in a bid to pressure Beijing to let U.S. air carriers resume flights. The move penalized China after Beijing failed to comply with an existing agreement on flights between the two countries. US-China relations have soured in recent months amid tensions surrounding the coronavirus pandemic and Beijing's move to impose new national security legislation for Hong Kong. The U.S. order applies to Air China, China Eastern Airlines Corp., China Southern Airlines CO and Hainan Airlines Holding CO, as well as smaller Sichuan Airlines CO and Xiamen Airlines CO. We will allow Chinese carriers to operate the same number of scheduled passenger flights as the Chinese government allows ours, the department said in a separate statement. The Trump administration on May 22 accused China's government of making it impossible for U.S. airlines to resume service to China and ordered 4 Chinese carriers to file flight schedules with the U.S. government. The Chinese carriers are flying no more than 1 scheduled round-trip flight a week to the United States but also have flown a significant number of additional charter flights, often to help Chinese students return home. Hainan had planned to fly between New York's JFK Airport and Chongqing starting in July, while other carriers have flights to Los Angeles and New York. China Eastern wants to resume additional flights later this year to Chicago and San Francisco. The Trump administration is also cracking down on Chinese passenger airline charter flights and will warn carriers not to expect approvals. The Transportation Department order said the administration believes Chinese carriers are using charter flights to circumvent China's limit of 1 flight per carrier per week to the U.S. and further increasing their advantage over U.S. carriers in providing US-China passenger services. Beijing in March said domestic and foreign airlines could operate no more than 1 weekly flight between China and any given country, adding that carriers could not exceed the level of service they were offering on March 12. Trump accuses WHO of being a puppet of China. Trump targets China over Hong Kong security law. The Department of Transportation said the March order had effectively banned U.S. airlines, which had voluntarily suspended service between the two countries in February due to the pandemic, and Mr. Trump's order barring entry to the U.S. for most Chinese travelers. It said the refusal to grant requests by U.S. airlines to resume service this month violated the agreement governing air travel between the two countries, which dates back to 1980. We conclude that these circumstances require the department's action to restore a competitive balance and fair and equal opportunity among U.S. and Chinese air carriers, the Department of Transportation said. Our overriding goal is not the perpetuation of this situation but rather an improved environment.